great, like, raising the Titanic. Doesn't look great in the back now. There's a big gaping hole there, see it? It's an awful lot bigger than when I remembered it, which is a long time ago, of course, but it's got a lot bigger, unfortunately. There's not much left of that back wall, so we have to be really careful when pulling this away that it doesn't... I don't think it will, it's not going to fall, but yeah, it's a lot bigger than I would have liked. But we're making progress. It's getting a lake that it hasn't seen in a long time. It's just been really careful here at the roof, just not to touch the roof. Try to pull off all them old brambles and stuff. He has work cut out from here when he's trying to pull off this old ivy. We'll probably have to handball a lot of that. The wee shed looks very small now, but we can't really afford to touch that either because it's kind of protecting the wall. We'll have to look at it after. Gully? Yeah. Must be a pipe there or something.
Must be a pipe to the number of the house. So
yeah. So what Jerry's doing at the minute is he's just clearing out the back so we can get water to run away from the back of the house. Not just clearing a room that we can walk around it, but it's important to keep the water out of the house. And the nice thing I've seen there is you can see there's a concrete plinth the whole way around this house, just like you're looking at here. And that goes the whole way around the house, the back as well. So that's great. That gives good holding to the foundations of the house. A bit of strength, and probably protected it well over the last few years. Little chip. What's that? Little chip. Anyone ever hear tell of that? She's empty anyway, but little chip. There's lots of old bottles and stuff, like not really old bottles, just old jam jars and things like that about. But otherwise than that, we haven't found anything of any value. So I'm going to give you kind of an idea of what the plan is, what we're trying to do here at the minute. We can't come in with any trailers. The ground is just a swamp. You wouldn't get near it with a trailer. So Jerry's going to take some of the stuff by bucket and drive down here, and he's going to build a ditch along here. This here is way lower than what I want it to be when it's finished, because if you look at this house here from here, you can see how much of a drop off there is here to the road. Now if we come along then and try to gravel this and bring this up to some sort of a level spot that you could park a car, you want to actually bring that level up a bit. So we come down from that footpath of the house, we probably come down about 4 inches, and then that's where we'll take our level from. We're just going to build a lovely clay mould because he has lovely clay out the back there, and we're going to build it along here. He's just going to bring it bucket by bucket and bring that up and see can we get sort of a level. And we're not raising all of this, not now. We'll do that when the weather's good next year, when it's nice and dry. We can reverse in with tipper dumper trailers and just fill this up to the right level. But for now we can build this bankment up sort of to the right level, and Jerry has a laser level with him, so we'll be fit to do that quite easy. And that means I can plant my hedge. I want to put in a beech hedge here. Well, that's what I'm thinking, beech hedge. A nice copper beech. I always like the look of them. If you think something different, throw your suggestions in the comment box. I'll look them over for sure. But I think a beech hedge, it's fast growing, it's easy to maintain, it looks really nice. So that's what we'll probably put there. And at least if we get in now, it'll mature. By the time we're doing something with this house, whenever that might be, the hedge can be growing away and maturing. Now, a few people asked me after the last video was done, did you keep any of the trees, Adrian? No, we had to remove them all. Now, funny enough, there wasn't actually that many trees in it. There was 3 sets of trees here, one of which was already falling against the other one, and they're all that same Landy type of tree. No power to them, no root to them whatsoever. The minute you touch them, they just fell over. They didn't have any deep roots to them, so they would fall in the house, and you can't have that. There's no point, I mean, anywhere near a house where there's a tree you're always watching that could fall on it. The big tree over there is gone. I mentioned that before. So we have a blank canvas now that we can start from scratch. So one job I can do today is put on a mask and just start clearing all this rubbish out. Because Jerry doesn't need me for the hour. He's walking away there. He doesn't need me hanging on top of him. So let him be, and we'll just take down a barra and we'll just start into this pretty much mammoth of a task, clearing all this rubbish out. But it'll look a lot better when it's all cleared out. At least you can walk around in a bit of peace. Alright, so we're back now, and it's actually been a week later since the last clip you watched. But the job is now complete. Jerry is gone a few days now, but he has everything left in good order. We're going to go through it now bit by bit and just show you what has been done and what we're going to do in the next addition to this. So first of all, there's the bank I talked about, or a ditch if you want to call it, brought up to the kind of level that we know is probably going to be the finished level of the garden. And he just left a place here. We're going to come back here in the summertime. We're going to dig it down, we're going to put pipes in it, we're going to stone it, and we'll just tidy up along the face of that. We might put a gully in as well, just let water run off the road. There's a nice actual stone pier there in the corner you mightn't have seen yet. So I'm going to get a local man to rebuild that, to finish it, bring it back up to its level and just solid it up and point it and leave it nice. We're going to just leave that exactly where it is, because that was probably built around the same time as the house, and things like that we don't want to be touching. We'll just pull all that ivy off it, clean it up and get it sorted. So this is the first time you're actually going to see the piers from this side. So they are the original piers to this house. It's about a 6-foot opening, so fortunately a car can't go up there, so we will have to modify that eventually. But if you look here, you see the word view. Bog used to be wrote there, and I remember seeing it. It used to be Bog View was the address here, and obviously it looked like it was painted a few different colours, blue and then white and green piers. So what I'll do here is I will put a gate. I have an ordinary field gate that I'm going to put here, a 7-foot field gate that'll hopefully be fit to hang alright on it, and just do for now, just keep cattle and things on the road out. I have to put a fence just on this side rather than the upside. We'll put an ordinary little plain wire fence just to close the thing off temporarily while we work on it. I'm going to put down a sheet of plastic right around the house, and I'm going to bar up gravel from the road, and we're going to gravel this because to walk on it now your feet is just clogged in muck. It means you have to wear your wellies the whole time. So I'll gravel that the next couple of days and leave that you can get up to the house a wee bit easier. So we're up at the house. The last clip you would have watched, was me cleaning it out. Clean my feet, not dirty it now. And let's have a look at it now. Here we go. So it looks a lot better. It's amazing what a wee clean does. So this wouldn't have been part of the original house. This is probably built on, I'd say, in the 60s. There's the original wall. There's a crack there. There's a few cracks here and there. But that's the original mud wall there. This here, the addition to it is a 6-inch block. So we go in here into the main house. So you remember we would have probably had a partition to come across there. So you would have been looking at a wall there. And then the door into this room. So we'll slip down this way first. A lot of stuff gone out of this room. It was flooded with stuff. There was several inches of debris in it. But then when we had it all cleared up, look how dry the floor is. It's a good floor and it's not wet, and it's not cracked. So it started its time well. We have damp coming down here. And I know where that's coming from. The chimney above has a big gaping hole in it. And water is starting to come down through, and that's going to destroy that wall if we don't sort that out soon. So we will be sorting that very, very shortly. This little shed here at the back, well, yeah, there's not much hope for this shed now, in fairness. This wall here is only timber lats, as I said before. It probably was the toilet, because I can see the hole there for sewage, and if you go outside, you can see here's the sewage pipes coming out here. There's a clay pipe there, water still running into it and getting away, and that pipe runs down to the septic tank, which is just down there below my finger. So yeah, what I'll do in here is I'll clear all this ivy off. I'll probably put a new beam across here. I'll probably support this one, push the roof back up again, and maybe put a couple of pallets across the back here, sheet it over with a bit of plastic, and just leave it temporarily for now. We're not going to pull anything down. We're just going to fix everything up. And then we have our main room, which looks good enough. The floor is fairly good. This kind of stuff you're seeing here is just what the lino would have been stuck to. It's a bit of an old glue or sort of stuff here. But all in all, for the age of the house, it's not bad. It all needs a new floor, of course, but it's not bad. It's dry. That's, again, the whole house is dry. The walls is dry. There's no damp. This green you're seeing here, that's paint. It's not damp, so that's a good start. I found a couple of things when I was clearing out. One thing I did find was a Stanley cooker door. So there was a range here. Do you remember the old Stanley cookers you would have seen on nearly every old house? And it was nice to see it. Probably a little small one stood again the wall there, cream colour. So that is it. You can always see where it probably sat. Can you see that brick that's on its edge? Just one brick. Well, that one brick is holding that entire chimney up. If that brick moves in any way at all, that chimney's going to fall right in on top of the house. So we'll look at that outside. We need to fix that very, very soon. So in here, I'm just going to show you a real quick picture of what it looks like before. And now you see what it looks like now. We left the old tiles on the floor. Them are stick-on tiles. But this is it. It's cleared up. It looks a lot better. Belfast sink. Probably would have sat there. That's what I'm thinking, with the two walls built to hold the weight of it. Nice big opening window there. But this wall here would have originally been the wall of the house, the gable of the house. It would have stopped here. You can see the thickness of it, how thick it is, and it's in amazing good condition, this wall. The whole way through, it's very, very solid. This we're standing here would have been added on, probably just as a little kitchen. I don't know where they would have cooked beforehand without this on, but this would have been the main place, probably for doing a little bit of cooking and kitchen work. You can see where there was cabinets with the different colours of paint on the wall. You can see there was obviously something there too. And you had your little sink, and probably something here as well for storage. So this was your utility slash kitchen. Small, yes, but probably functional for that time. This is one of the bedrooms is here. This is the best room probably in the whole house. Again, this add-on, I should have said in the fireplace, is 6-inch block. There'll be not a whole pile of work to be done in here, only to dry line it. Everything will have to be battened, insulation and plasterboard over, just to dry line the whole house. But otherwise the walls well plastered, very strong, next to no cracks, in good condition. So yeah, it looks a lot better now than it's cleaned out, even with the board nest still there. So that's the insides of it, and all in all, it's not bad. It's really not bad. Although it's not all good news. And now I'm about to show you the major issue the house has. It looks deceiving on the inside, because you have still got the walls inside, but they're only wafer thin because there's the windows. And that's how much of the wall we're missing. Has just fallen away completely. So this is just hill up against the plaster, and I'd say if you even tipped it with a hammer on the inside, the whole thing would go. And over here it's the same, it's the whole way along the wall. It's just ready to come down. But what I'm going to do with this is we're going to prop the roof to the ground for now. I'm going to get a plastic sheeting, good heavy plastic sheeting, and we're going to batten down on both sides. We're going to cover this whole thing with sheeting to waterproof it, to let no more rain belt in against it and cause it any more harm, because that's what causes that whole harm with mud walls. When you don't have a gutter up there, the rain gets in into the clay, the thing freezes, it pushes the clay away, and that's what you get. The way to fix it will be to demolish the entire wall. Unfortunately, there is no way around that. There's no fixing that and leaving it safe. So we will probably have to pull this whole entire wall down at the back here and rebuild it just from scratch. And that just leaves it that the thing's right, because I can't honestly see any other way of doing it. But look, it's not a big wall. The cleaning up of it is going to be the biggest job. The building the wall won't take long at all. So it's not the end of the world, because all in all, the house itself, even the entrance to it, the house itself is pretty good. So what is going to happen with this house? And I know that's something you really want to know. So what we're going to do with it is we're going to have to weatherproof it. The overgrowth and stuff that was around the house would have protected the house from all the high winds that we get around these parts and the driving rain. It would have helped it abundantly, but you couldn't work on it the way it was. It had to be cleared so we could see what we have to work with. So to weather seal it, we're going to have to fix that chimney. We're going to take that chimney down, and we're going to get a bit of corrugated iron, and we're going to just roof right across it, and that would fix that instantly, because there's no point in trying to fix that. There's nothing fixable on it. It needs new red brick. We'll take loads of pictures and we'll build it back same exactly what would have been there before. The next issue will be the windows. Now it's very open to the wind at the minute, which wouldn't be ideal, because the wind will come along, it'll get inside, and it will lift that roof off very, very easily. So first of all, I had my mate out who does the carpentry work, and he said we'll just board the thing up with plywood for now, and that will seal it all up. We might have to do most of them like that, but I don't want to close the house up. I'll leave it pitch black inside and leave it miserable to have to work in. So I'd like to get a couple of second-hand windows if I can, and I've made a few phone calls to different places that would stock them, give them all the measurements, and hopefully they'll come back to me with maybe a couple of windows that will fit in, just to keep a wee bit of brightness in the house. And even if they're a little smaller, we can board around them, we can make them fit, because there'll only be a temporary window, there'll be all different colours and different styles, but it's just for now to seal the house up and not leave it miserably and dark inside. I can board that door up, I can definitely plane it down because it almost closes. Hinges are still good, but I did ask when I was looking for the windows, would they have any old doors or anything of similar size, and if they do, great. If not, we'll make that one work. We also have the door here at the back of the house, which we need to fix as well. So the same again, we put the measurements in for that, and if we can get a door for it, great. If not, we'll make a door for it. We might be fit to salvage that door and put in a new frame down the side here, and if not, we can make a door for it, something just to seal the house up. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run a cable to each room, just on a loop to each room, right through the house, just very temporary, so that we have light. I'll install a switch somewhere here as well, that I can run lights outside as well on a switch, and if I want to come over here at night and do a bit of work, I can just hook up the wee generator and it'll run all these lights, and it means that we'll have plenty of light to be able to do a bit of work. Another thing we need to address as well is guttering. I want to put some sort of guttering on the house to stop any more water running down on the walls and fix that problem. I also have to get up on the roof and pull all that ivy off, get the whole roof cleaned down so the water can get away off the roof easily, and that'll make a big difference too. But what are we going to do with this house? Well, lots and lots of people, I'm sure you've read the comments on the last video we done, and lots of people are mentioning an Airbnb. That would work really well around here because this is big fishing country. It would work extremely well for that, but I don't know. We're not going to be rushing in and start doing this thing up right away, because no, that's not going to happen. We want to get it that it doesn't get any worse than the condition it's in, preserve it, and then we bit by bit over a long period of time we can do it as we please. That back wall next summer will be getting demolished and rebuilt, because that's not going to stand the test of time, so we really do need to address that next summer. Another thing as well is we found out a bit about it. One of the guys of the last family that lived in it was able to give me a bit of information, and he said they moved out in 85, 86. So that lets you know how long the house has been derelict, because no one has been in it since then. So that's how long the house now has been sitting. The originality of the house has got very interesting, because a viewer got in contact with us with one of those old historical maps. So he was able to look it up. We were able to see actually a heap of buildings that was on top of that hill. We talked about that before on the channel. We were able to see the old flax mill that used to be just on the other side of that hill, and we were able to see this cottage. And on them old maps, they would sometimes write above what each building was. So flax mill was wrote above the flax mill. Nothing was wrote above the houses on top of that building, but schoolhouse was wrote across this building. Now, I've never heard that one said before, so we have to look into that, because there is another schoolhouse just right beside it, just over the road from us, and we're wondering maybe it's a little bit of a mistake on the map, but we'll find that out. That's an interesting one. Can't see the layout being right for a schoolhouse, but we will be finding out more about it as time goes on. We've our water reconnected. We're just finishing off a wee bit here, where I'm just have to connect them two pipes together. I'm going to take a T-joiner then and run a water pipe down here, put a post in the ground or something and a tap, that if you're washing your feet or mixing cement or anything, you have water there. So I'm going to do that now in the next couple of days. So that's it. That's a project, long-term project for us, and I'll film everything we're doing with it and I'll share it with you. It's just going to be few and far apart, but we will give updates over the next few months of what we're at, and it should get better and better hopefully as we go along. So I'm going home now to get a cup of tea and a slice of cake, because actually today is the 7th of October, which is my birthday, but I'm going home to enjoy a bit of that. And until the next one, folks, we'll talk to you again.